I have created this rudimentary video to showcase and give my first impressions of a turntable I recently purchased. 3 months ago, I bought my first turntable, the Audio-Technica AT-LP120 USB. I will admit that before I made that purchase, I didn't do much research, and as I became more acclimated with vinyl, I noticed some flaws in the LP120. The excessive platter wobble and poorly implemented anti-skate impeded my listening experience. I contacted Audio-Technica and they told me that both of those features met their specifications. Well, that was not really good enough for me. I wanted something better. Plus, the DJ features in the LP120 were unnecessary for me. I had no interest in reversing the record or changing the pitch. This is a belt-driven turntable as opposed to the LP120, which is direct drive. The only supported speeds with the Orbit are 33 1/3 and 45. You'll have to adjust the belt if you want to switch between speeds. I have a white turntable, the Acrylic Platter, the Ortofon 2M blue cartridge, Q-lift, and a built-in Pluto preamp. The total before shipping is $575. This is the Acrylic Platter. When customizing your Orbit, it will cost you an extra $75. The Acrylic Platter provides better speed consistency than the basic MDF platter that Orbit offers by default. MDF is simply a wood composite material. I chose this platter because of the speed consistency, and as you'll see later in this video, colored records can give a fantastic aesthetic to your setup. This is the Ortofon 2M blue cartridge. While I was customizing my turntable, I was eyeing the 2M red, but I decided against it. Why? Because I read reviews that compared the red and the blue, and the consensus was that the blue provided a greater soundscape and a more balanced sound all around. I was also not on a tight budget, so I made the jump to buy the more expensive cartridge, and I do not regret it. The money was well spent because I compared the sound from the blue cartridge to the cartridge that came with my LP120, and it blew it out of the water. This is the mechanism that's driving the belt. I'm showing this because it makes a small sound and it moves a little bit when you turn the table on. You may not be able to hear it because I'm using the microphone on my iPhone, but listen closely. The dust cover is one of the negatives that many have found for the Orbit turntable. If you do not keep it perpendicular to the table, it will fall down and close. Watch how I install it. You take the dust cover and you put it over the hinges and it slides right in place. When you open it, the angle cannot be less than 90 degrees or else it will fall. Watch. It's opened. It's around 90 degrees. It's not falling. Now I'm going to close it a little bit and see what happens. It's falling. That's not good, especially when compared to the LP120 that stays open. Here I'm going to place the stylus on the record. The turntable is on and there is a slight platter wobble, but nothing to be concerned about. My record is slightly warped, however, but playback has not been affected. Any severely warped records I have, I will never use with this stylus. Also look at the color underneath the acrylic platter. This is one of the benefits I mentioned earlier in the video. You can have interesting lighting effects depending on the color of your record. I am going to demonstrate the Q-lift. The Tonearm is in the up position. When I press on the Q-lift, it slowly falls down by itself while the Tonearm falls down simultaneously, touching the record. The Tonearm is almost completely parallel with the record. I do need some adjustments, but this is the way it came factory. It's pretty nice. Here is a closer look at the Tonearm. It uses a gimbal mechanism for the balancing and the tracking force. You see that little screw on top? You unscrew it and pull it towards you to add weight and push it away from you to reduce weight. When I got this from the factory, the tracking force for the Ortofon 2M Blue was 1.6 grams. It needs to be 1.8, so I did some slight adjustments and got it as close as I could. This is probably my biggest negative on the turntable. I could not hit 1.8 grams. I could only get it to 1.83 grams, and that is quite unfortunate. I do have one more complaint about this turntable, and it has to do with using record weights. I have one that's 1.46 pounds, and when I used it, it slowed the platter down significantly. I will not demonstrate this, as I do not want to potentially damage the stylus. So if you have a record weight, do some research and figure out if it's too heavy or too light to have any effect on your sound. I have not provided any audio samples because I do not feel that I could adequately replicate what I have in my living room. But I will say this turntable with the Ortofon 2M Blue sounds phenomenal when compared to the LP120. It's really worth the money to invest in the U-Turn orbits. U-Turn Audio has done a phenomenal job with making a entry-level turntable with specific customizations that can enhance your sound. I do not regret this purchase at all, and I would strongly recommend it to anyone wanting to get into the hobby. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below, and I will respond as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. And as always, spiral out, keep going.